This week's episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Squarespace,
GoDaddy.com,
and Netflix.
The whole world knows the story of this house. Now, its terror takes on a new dimension. As the horror reaches out beyond the edge of the screen.
Out of the house. Everybody out of the house.
Dino De Laurentiis presents Totally Rad Show 3D.
Three rad dudes with nothing better to do get abducted by the crew of the starship Alpha 2. They're from the planet Q, which, due to a space-time loop, is stuck in 82 and must be rescued. They need our heroes to discuss the latest news and give their reviews of games and movies too. Sure hope you're not confused. We swear this is all true, not just the premise too. The Totally Rad Show.
Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad, Totally Rad Show, Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Totally Rad Show, episode number 96. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Totally Rad Show is your weekly dose of all things rad. Of course, this week, that means movies, a little video games, and maybe a little contest winnerage.
Yeah, and a revisitation of the cool talkback from, or Q&A from the live show last week.
we had a great time on the live show. We shot a Q&A afterwards, so in lieu of an email this week, we're gonna do a little bit of, we're gonna break a piece off that Kit Kat bar off.
We got a lot of feedback from the live show and our picks. And I would like to say that I, for one, am gonna cop to the fact that I completely forgot about Avatar in my top 5 TV shows.
I didn't forget about it.
You didn't forget? You didn't think it valued your top 5?
It valued a top
Merited,
10,
I should say.
but I liked all my other 5s
Yeah, I felt
more than this season of Avatar.
I agree with that, but I also liked, it was right underneath.
Because that had a pretty awesome finale, series finale.
It did, but somehow it wasn't.
Still, season 1 for me is the one.
Yeah.
I can't, it's not, never filled me with as much
Speaking
as...
of Avatar, for no reason, backgrounds.
Yes.
Backgrounds, right?
We're doing Valkyria Chronicles today in video games. This is very similar to Valkyria Chronicles, although this is all original art.
It is, sent in by Eva Andrejev, we believe.
We hope.
Her name is probably...
She's from Finland.
We don't believe that. We are
We don't
just
believe,
saying that.
we hope. We don't believe.
She's from Finland,
Eva
so it could be
Andrejev.
I wanted to,
pronounced very differently.
I wanted to say, you were telling a funny story, Jimmy Fallon was on Dignation, and about your backpack, and he was making fun of you in your backpack.
Yes.
And it conjured, I wonder if you guys were like me in high school. I was one of the guys that didn't use my locker, so I walked around like, I was one of those people. Yeah.
Wow, I'm surprised you're so slight.
Yeah, and straight.
So you were like that?
No, I use my locker.
Yeah, I use my locker.
I hated dealing with that.
But I hated the shoulder issue.
Yeah, and it was over.
And then you did like
Only
the
did one shoulder,
which
so
is
it was
even
like-
worse. You're like, eh.
Yeah, and then I looked like a mountain climber when you used too.
Yeah, I still look like a mountain climber. Every Dignation show I end clipped in shirt.
Right.
Anyway, let's get into the show, shall we?
So this week in movies, we are talking about My Bloody Valentine 3 Dizzles.
3 Dizzles, baby.
Shortened to 3D for the US release.
Yeah.
So it's a remake of an old 80s horror cult classic that I never saw. Don't know if you guys
I don't think I saw. I saw, what was the one where they went to the island? It was like they had it was like almost on like a little Nantucket island or whatever. I think it was called
Valentine, I believe it was.
I thought
What
it
was the
My Bloody
killer?
Valentine, but
What was the killer and what was the horror?
I don't remember.
So it was just people on an
A lot of
island?
stabbing. No, well then somebody.
I think that
came
was
and killed them.
Survivor.
So
I think it was called Saturday the 14th.
No, that wasn't on an island. There were 2 of those and they were great.
When none
Boogity
of them was
boogity
on,
boo! Boogity boogity boo! Oh wait, is that a different one? That's a different one.
Okay.
But Saturday the 14th, there's
happening?
2 and they're great.
There's no one where you take a ferry. They took a ferry out to the island where the house
I'm
was.
sure there
and
was
then-
that.
No, I know that was part of it, but I mean, I couldn't remember the movie.
Yeah. That's all. We gotta talk about that movie another time. Anyway,
I'm gonna look it up when we
so
get
My
inside.
Bloody Valentine 3D is set in like a rural town in Pennsylvania, a mining town, and a miner is killing the people in this town.
He's an adult, but he's a minor.
No, it's just a minor inconvenience that
And
everybody's dying.
it's shot in glorious 3 dimensions.
Glorious
So you can see it in both. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but terror is the 3rd dimension.
Dude.
I thought so.
So
I felt that.
The
so
4th element. That
you can
I
see
love.
it in both 2D and 3D. We saw it in 3D. I think anytime a movie is available in 3D, you should probably see it that way.
Yeah, especially because things are usually shot specifically for
Exactly.
3D.
So Jeff,
Yo.
I guess.
I guess.
What did you think of My Bloody Valentine 3D?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I had not been paying attention to the promotional material for this movie.
Okay.
And I actually thought going in that this was going to be much more of a gritty torture movie. I thought this was a torture movie. I didn't know that it's a fun slasher, silly movie, which I was very glad that was the case because I like those. I don't much care for the kind of torture films.
Well, you haven't seen very many, and the one that you did see with me, you liked a lot.
I don't like the concept of the torture
Okay.
films.
Anyways.
I do
happy.
like the
Made me happy,
concept.
made me happy.
As a kid, I loved the Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street movies, and the fun thing about those movies that I always loved the most was that anything was possible, and it was just like this.
Crazy.
How crazy can the killings get, right? Well, here we have variations on a theme of the pick, so the killings don't ever get that crazy, but the gimmick clearly here is the 3D-ness, which the first killing is pretty awesome in 3D, but then they don't ever really take advantage of it to the point that I would have liked. I thought it would have been a lot more. I wanted to have more fun with this movie than I did. I didn't have as much fun as I thought I was going to. There's a couple of fun moments, but not. I will say, however, that the end, I really admired. They really created a situation where it could have gone either way, and I didn't know where the movie was going to go.
Interesting.
I don't think it's a great movie.
Yeah, just to say, I agree with the fact that this movie, to me, is all about the oh moments. And unfortunately, I felt that there weren't enough of them, and the stuff in between was not bad enough, in my opinion, for me to allow myself to enjoy the sort of cheesiness of it. So I think that I couldn't tell if the movie was sort of a send-up of like, let's just do the movie like Friday the 13th, where it's just crazy, the story really doesn't matter all that much, it's gonna be cool, you know what I mean?
Right.
And they kind of kept like touching that line, and for me, there were times where I got confused as to, I wonder if they think they're making a serious, scary movie.
Which it wasn't at all.
It's not. Well, I mean, to me, I didn't come off that way to me, and but the O moments were so amazingly fun. I mean, some of the kills were like, you got to be kidding me, and some of the lines were so funny that I was like, oh, they get it. They're in on the joke. And then every once in a while, like, I would fall into that, uh-oh, I don't think they're in on the joke. You know what I mean? So for me, if you like that kind of thing, it's fun. And I thought the 3D stuff was pretty cool. Although when the fighting stuff happened, sometimes you could really see the video-ness of it. And the 3D actually exacerbated that to me, but I love that.
Exacerbating.
You did it correctly.
You love exacerbating.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree with everything you guys said. I think the movie was just really too long.
Yeah.
And I think, because I thought
2 hours.
there was great 3D moments that happened in the beginning, great 3D kills that happened in the beginning, and great that happened in the end and the middle. There was just a lot
Of downtime.
Yeah, so I think you wouldn't have felt as disappointing in 3D if there was less.
Right. There's a lot of the movie where it's like, why is this in 3D?
But
yeah.
I agree. But I don't love the stuff coming out at me in 3D, and I find that harder. I've learned a lot about 3D from this movie. I think that things moving quickly is very difficult to absorb in 3D. So even shots where you're moving with people and tracking, it's really tough. And movement is very tough in 3D.
Yeah.
Low light and this is a horror film, very tough in 3D. So anytime
cave.
a scene was set, anytime all the daylight scenes, I thought were so. I loved like when a guy was in a car, you could see the back seat of the car.
Yeah.
And I love the depth in 3D. I don't love the. And this is great 3D.
The first diner scene where he's sitting and then there's all these people in the back.
And it's fun 3D. It's not like the Star Wars stuff we talked. It's like this is shot in 3D and it's a new technology. This is the good stuff. I'm very excited to see what Avatar will bring.
Yeah.
Because I think I hope that solves the motion problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I do want to say also that totally I agree with you guys. It's hard to find the tone, but I think that this did such a better. There's a lot of movies in recent years that claim they wanted to do the send up of the '80s movie, or return it to form the '80s movies, like Slither.
Right. Yeah.
And the Freddy's vs. Jason, and what we claim
Jason
they're
X.
just for fun. And, right. But I think that this really didn't feel like a send up of the '80s movie. It seemed like I'm pretending I'm a director in the '80s. I'm pretending I'm making a movie in the '80s. And that is what it felt like it was made in the 80s.
If they were in on that joke, then yes, I agree. My worry was half the time I felt like they weren't in on that joke, and half the time I felt like they were in on the joke. So it was so hard for me to be like, should I laugh? You know what I mean? And the other thing that was hard was the director was actually there, and so the whole audience is uproariously laughing at certain points that. I'm worried that the director's going, but that was supposed to be a serious, scary moment. And so then I felt uncomfortable, so...
Yeah. There are two things about these kinds of movies for me.
And I'm a little worried about Avatar, because I don't know if I love 3D movies.
Oh, the first thing is
I had a headache.
That why do all these movies have to be about stuff that happened in the past? Why is so much of the movie about the past? It seems like a trope of these films that it's always about things in the past resurfacing now. I would love to see a movie that's all about what's happening right now, first. Second of all, I desperately want to write a horror movie where every single person in the movie at every moment is doing the smartest thing they could possibly do in that situation. I think that would be really interesting. I mean, maybe Scream was that because it kind of was self-aware.
Well, Scream happens now. I was thinking when you were saying that. But the thing, I mean, there are smart, horror flick. Actually, I thought The Ruins, which is what I was thinking of earlier. I remember those people were acting very excruciatingly.
The Thing is a good.
I want to see 6 MacGyvers in a horror movie, like 6 MacGyver characters.
A MacGyverthon?
It's very interesting. And I agree with you too. The end.
Because
it really had. I was like, oh my God, they're doing
really
it.
Could go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really did it. Cool. For especially my Bloody Valentine and the female protagonist and making choices and really good. Okay, so moving on to movie news. This isn't particularly mainstream news, but it's about a director that we've never really discussed in the show, and I thought it'd be interesting to finally have a conversation about this guy's body of work. So there's a movie being made right now called The Way Back, and it's directed by Peter Weir and stars
Peter Weir.
Peter Weir. It stars Colin Farrell, Ed Harris, and Jim Sturgis, the 21 and Across the Universe guy, and Saoirse Ronan, the girl from Atonement. And it's
Saoirse Ronan.
And it's set in a prison gulag. A Siberian gulag, and them trying to escape, I guess. And the gulag, I was like, I know that word, but I don't actually know. And it was, so the gulags were like the prison settlements.
Yeah, prison camps in Siberia.
And it was for people that
they worked.
did petty crimes or politically were opposed to. It wasn't like criminals. It was.
And they were like writing letters that they thought were going out, and the government didn't even know. A lot of the government people didn't even know that these things existed because nobody was able to get any communication out, and they were so far off that they were sort of self-running, even when the government was like, "What's a gulag? What?"
Crazy.
It's really crazy.
So these labor camps, anyway.
What's the last movie Peter Weir made?
So Peter Weir,
Master and Commander.
Yeah, Master and Commander was his last movie.
Phenomenal.
This is weird. I've actually met Peter Weir. Remember that
Really?
whole thing? Yeah, that whole thing of me singing in Master and Commander. I went in to go audition to sing the line. There's like a line in Master and Commander where the guy who's like the snooty British like guy who comes in to like help is everybody's supposed to be like singing this song, and then all of a sudden it gets quiet because this one guy's got like a really great voice and was like singing this song. Well, I guess the actor said like, yeah, I sing, and then they did the scene and they were like, nobody would be like impressed with that. So I got a call from a friend of mine who was like, hey, would you go they just want a singer to just sing this one line in this movie, and I was like, oh, okay. And they didn't tell me what movie it was. I didn't think it was that big. I thought it was like an indie, like My Friend of a Friend.
Oh, wow.
And I walk into Pop in Santa Monica, which is
POP
like,
Sound.
Yeah, which is okay. POP Sound instead of Pop
It's a
Sound.
big mix house.
Right. Yeah. And so I walk in, I was like, oh, this is like they must have a friend who works at Pop. This is a big mix house.
Right.
And I'm sitting down in the thing, and there's like 3 of us. First guy goes in and comes back, and we were like, so what was it? I mean, was it like, what kind of movie? And he was like, I think it was like a pirate movie. And we were like, what? And then he goes, yeah. And then he goes, although it was weird because Russell Crowe came on the movie screen. And I go, oh my, holy shit, I think this is Master and Commander. Like, what? And then I went in and did the thing, and then came back, and then they let 2 of them go. It was me and this other guy. And they go, okay, well, the director's here and wants to meet you guys. And so I literally walk into this like mixing room, and it's me and Peter Weir is like shoes off, acoustic guitar, strumming his acoustic guitar to the video that they're playing back. And he comes in, and I was like, hey. And the guy was like, oh, this is Alex. And he comes up and he's like, hey, I'm Peter. And he's like, hey man, thanks so much for coming in. He's like, so what? And he starts like talking to me about what the scene is and like what's going on in the movie. And we sit there and chat for like 10 minutes. And I was like, all right. And he's like, let's just try one. And I sang like 3 times for him, and he was like, all right, cool.
Was it you?
They ended up taking the other guy, obviously, because the story would have been way better. But it was fun. I was like, dude, it's just like a nice guy. And
Very cool.
bumped
That's a cool
into.
real thing.
That's all the time we have.
So I'm excited.
So yeah, Master Commander, first of
Yeah.
all, like a great, my
Very underrated,
my
I
favorite
think.
kind of movie
Yeah.
because it's a dude's movie. It is there's awesome battles,
Yeah.
but there's also great it's like the doctor on the ship and the commander of the ship have these debates on like they come
So
across the
you're saying, like, the
Galapagos
master
Island.
and the commander.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like do we discover science in the Galapagos Islands, or the battleship is coming and we need to attack them, and it's great like science versus war stuff. And historical, it's just a great frickin'. If you don't like period pieces and you think, this would be the one period piece where I'd say you could like this one.
Yeah.
But he did the Truman Show before that.
Right. Yeah.
But in the 80s, he did
Which
this.
I didn't love. I liked
Oh, I
it a
thought
lot.
you loved the Truman Show.
No, I
Okay.
didn't love it. I liked it a lot,
Yeah.
but I didn't love it.
You loved the Truman Show, right?
No.
Oh,
I liked it a lot, but I didn't love it.
Well, but in the 80s, he did. So.
Who are you? No,
So, Witness.
Yes.
oh, well,
amazing.
that.
Mosquito Coast, and
yeah.
Dead Poet Society, were his
Dead
big
Poet Society
80s
is one of
flicks.
those ones that is very close to my heart.
Yeah.
It speaks to.
It speaks to you.
And I thought, and you know, all of those movies are
Well,
about.
then he did Gallipoli, didn't he? Wasn't that his big?
Yeah, Gallipoli with Mel Gibson. Yeah. I didn't really like that one, but that was one of his earlier ones.
Yeah, I mean, that's
but first of all, Witness is amazing,
Yeah,
and that
Can
Mosquito.
I get a?
But Mosquito.
No, you can't.
Mosquito Coast. I remember when I was a kid.
that the Harrison Ford one?
Harrison Ford. I remember being. Harrison Ford, I didn't know there was a Harrison Ford. I knew that there was Han Solo and Indiana Jones.
Han Solo.
And then Mosquito
Coast is a little
Coast
different
scarred
from
me.
those guys.
Yeah, that was a
I was like,
weird
that's not
movie.
what, but it's a freaking cool movie.
Yeah.
And Witness, I was just thinking on the car ride over here, I was like, Witness, there's not much holding it back from, if it were released tomorrow, there's only a few things that hold it back from playing.
Being
Current.
contemporary.
Yeah, exactly. It is a cool movie.
Yeah.
So this one should
Oh,
be
but I was
good.
gonna say, like, all those movies seem to be about. I know you want to wrap up, but they're
I
all
don't
about,
want
like,
to.
they're all like people that don't fit in.
Damn you and your time constraints, Jeff.
They're all about like an outsider coming into a new environment kind of thing. At least the ones that I
Master and
mentioned.
Commander isn't.
Well, a doctor on a ship of.
Yeah, but it wasn't really about that.
But Dead Poet Society isn't about that, but that is a big part of the thing. The teacher who doesn't,
Well, I'm excited about the Gulag.
Well,
I'm excited to see that. I mean,
Yeah.
ever since The Undiscovered Country, I want to get back into a
The
frost
Undiscovered
prison.
Country?
Star Trek.
Star Trek?
Yeah, that was the whole thing. It was
beginning.
mimicked off of.
Oh, really?
It was like based on the Siberian gulags
Interesting.
on another planet with aliens.
I love that part of that movie, that shapeshifter thing.
So many weeks in the making, we've been talking about Little Big Planet, and we've been asking you, the awesome viewers of our show, to send in your TRS-themed Little Big Planet levels.
We've
We
gotten tons.
and they're all of them are awesome.
Yeah.
Our plan was to have us play the winning levels, our favorite of the submitted levels, live in front of the audience last week at the live show, the best of the year show. We really wanted to do that. It would have been really fun. We tried to get that to work for quite a while, and we just couldn't get it to work at Dolby. We had PS3 issues. So, second best to that is that we're going to play them right now.
Yeah.
And these are, I think, some of the best of the. Thank you to every single person that submitted a level to us. It gave us joy beyond measure.
Yeah, even we're just gonna play 3 or something. 4.
Yeah.
But even the ones that we aren't playing were amazing, like challenging and awesome. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the first one I wanted to show you guys. I don't know if you've seen this one yet.
If we start playing, I might have.
Okay. This is from Jimbolicious86.
Okay.
And it's called TRS, Not Just a Premise to the Totally Rad Show.
I love it already.
All right, wait until you see.
I love the patch.
Here we go.
Yes, I've seen this.
You guys can listen.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Are you kidding me?
It's our intro. It's our entire intro.
Help us.
There's the kid. Who I hope you're not confused.
Honest Abe, we swear it's all true.
Not just a premise too.
Oh! Dan!
And you even put us in the clothes.
The same
already?
outfits, yeah. 88.
So there wasn't much playing to that one, but I was so impressed with it.
Absolutely.
We had to show it.
God.
We should clarify.
So cool.
I am the dude in the kimono and the cape with the silver helmet.
I am the awesome-looking Burt Reynolds lookalike.
I am a yuppie who just came back from a trip to Africa, who bought a bunch of random stuff.
So I think amazing.
That
Thank
is
you.
amazing. So
he said
far,
he said he put 30 hours into making that.
I'm surprised it didn't take him longer. Are you kidding me? That was so that was
Accurate.
Epic.
Yes.
It's gonna be very hard to beat that one. I'm excited because I sort of stopped playing this
So
game.
this is called Dan Becomes the Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
So we better grab the teacup.
Okay.
We gotta.
So Jeff has the teacup.
So we gotta
Help
Dan get the teacup to his mouth. So you guys gotta, help me.
Oh my God, balls.
Oh wait, I'm behind everything.
Okay, help me grab the teacup.
Hold on. All right, here we go.
To his mouth.
Yeah. So we gotta bring the teacup down here. What's my hand doing?
What's my hand
Look, he's
doing?
got a hand doing crazy stuff.
Oh my
Wait,
God.
you fucked up.
I'm in it. I'm in it.
That's Dan's
Oh,
mouth.
that's Dan's mouth.
Wait for me.
Oh, we better get here.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Wait for it.
It's not.
Wait for
too
it.
heavy.
Backload it.
jump off.
Backload it.
There we
Wait,
go.
oh, wait.
It's going without me. Help me! I made it somehow. I made it. Oh my God, was that the cigar blowing up?
Might have been. So I thought that was awesome. Giving the teacup to Dan's
is
mouth.
hysterical.
What's my hand doing?
What's my hand
What's
doing?
awesome about this game is that wasn't like YouTube, that wasn't a
Like a challenge.
It was artistic expression.
Also
This
good,
one's
though.
TRS Back to the Future by Under Hero 5. Yeah,
This is
awesome.
our couch mobile, which we evidently would rewrite. It's this couch that we're actually on as a mobile. Everybody on?
Yeah, everybody's on. Oh my gosh, great
We all have
images.
bow ties for some reason.
Because we're on a couch.
And here's the Alpha 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Oh! That was epic.
Uh-oh.
Oh, fuck.
you guys-
Oh,
you guys
fiery
are dead.
flames.
I'm alive, but it's not going
Wait, is that the guy who designed it? Look at that.
Oh,
It's gotta be
Camera.
him.
there we go.
All right, here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, Jeffrey, you bastard!
I got the T.
Hold on,
Oh, I came back
hold on,
invalid.
hold on.
Oh, Miss the R!
Hold on.
Not out of the R!
We're swinging on TR and S.
Rad show.
TRS. And then this is cool.
Yeah, wait.
Wait
for
for
me.
Alex.
This is also kind of doing our intros. The time warp into 82. See?
Oh, that's the time warp into 82.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And then look,
And then-
hello 80s.
Yeah, and now everybody gets to get on the skateboard.
Someone's got to push
someone's
it.
got to push it.
I'll go ahead, Jeff. I don't want to. Alex just hold grippy.
Oh, no, wait. Oh, I'm
Bro, we totally went for you, but we can!
1882.
Oh, into 82.
There you go.
Oh,
Everyone pose.
So it takes a picture in front of our logo. How cool is that?
love it,
Yes.
love it.
The
The
leap,
leap
of
of
faith.
faith. Only a penitent man shall pass.
Pen to man, pen fan.
Oh, I'm grabbing on Alex. Yes.
Love it. That is
right.
so much fun.
Yeah.
I love how creative people can be within what we do on our show. You know what I mean? Like, because it's not what we actually do on our show. It's like everything that our show has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
It's the tropes of our show.
Yes.
So cool.
Quiet Boy 99 made this one. Yeah, this is the one I was going to end on.
Yes.
One of those evil fire gods' houses doesn't like tiny creatures.
Jeff already got all the shit, so it's
Yeah.
like
See-
whatever.
This one actually has puzzles. So I will solve the puzzles because I
don't
know
know.
how.
There we go.
Oh!
Nice. Good moves.
Think you like me?
No, that's not the right way to do it.
Oh, wait, to pull it the other way?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess maybe I haven't done this one.
I think this one is the most of an actual
Yeah, level.
level.
Like,
I don't know. There's
haven't
that
got
one
the-
inside our logo that's
that one's very hard.
I know the way.
So we land on the couch.
Awesome.
Oh my
There's
god, look at
us.
the pictures of us.
Yeah, it gets even better. Check this out, Steve. The green screen studio with camera.
Oh my, I've definitely never seen
Oh my
green screen
god.
studio, and here comes Steve.
this. Awesome.
Ah, who dares disturb Steve, the fire god of fire?
A sack person, huh? Perhaps you can help me. The three rad ones are late for the show.
Is that a
Seek them
picture
out.
of me with him, the guy who made the level?
I don't know.
From a thing?
Maybe,
From a live show
maybe.
or something?
Possible. Seek them out, and in return I shall reward thee. So Steve is giving us a quest to save us.
I love the green screen studio though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool, right?
It's on the wall.
So here's the thing. We're gonna have to come down, go, and then hide up.
I
right?
hear.
I died.
Oh, I thought it was in. Shit.
Okay, can we come
It's
back?
all on you, Jeff, or you can go back for us. All right.
All right. And let's get to the wall. Here we go. I'm out! I'm back.
Go. Wait, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it.
We both died.
All right, go for it,
I'm
Jeff.
good.
Just go
Come on,
for
Jeff,
it.
you got it.
Okay, now go. Yeah. You gotta wait for after twosies.
Yes, indeed.
And then go.
Hesitated.
Comfortable?
Go now, go.
Go.
There.
Hey, look, it's Alex.
Hey!
On the way out is through the window, but beware a noisy cricket and the lawnmower man.
Ah!
Pretty clever, huh?
Very awesome.
Better get out of here. I'll make a lot of annoying noise. It's the cricket that we always have to deal
Oh
with.
my god, that's
I'll wait for,
freaking
uh,
hysterical.
Jeff.
Wait for me,
So
balls!
we shattered the window.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Jeff, that's how you had
That's
to
how
get
you
your thing.
there. Yeah.
That was epic. That
And then
was
we're
epic.
outside Steve's house?
Yep. There's Steve's house,
Amazing.
and we got to fight the lawnmower man.
Ah!
He will kill you.
How do we do it?
You got to jump up on him.
Get me in you!
I'll never stop you from disturbing the TRS guys. This grass needs mowing every Friday.
Oh my god, brilliant.
What do I do up here?
You gotta get up. You gotta get up to his and hold on to his arm. See there?
I'm dead.
There he goes. Watch. Ready? There it is. Now jump over there.
I'm alive.
Jeff, it's up to you.
Jeff made it.
Just do it.
Love it.
Just kill yourself, Alex.
Yeah.
Now you're gonna kill me. Oh, there you go.
Hey! That was
Isn't that cool?
awesome. Because that was like a whole level that was like, it just was all of our experiences as a show. You know
It
what
really
I mean?
incorporated our show, but it made our show into a platformer.
Yep.
Yeah. And also like the crickets and lawnmowers disturbing the show. So
Steve as the
amazing.
quest giver,
Steve as the quest giver. I mean, it was just like
right?
amazing. Well, I think here's the hard thing. with a game like this, reviewing it after just playing it by myself, blah, 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 it's hard to get a vibe for what the whole world that the game involves is. I felt this way a little bit with Spore.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, the part of...
Spore was more disappointing to me than this, but yes.
Oh, I agree wholeheartedly. But I mean, like, there's certain aspects of this that you have to really kind of get into it in order to even understand that it's available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Cool.
I cannot thank
Thank you. Oh, my
every
God.
single person that sent in some. I wish we could show every single one we've gotten, but maybe we'll do this periodically. If people keep
Yeah.
sending levels in.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome.
So great.
So much
great.
joy.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to be in a video game, so people definitely made
Has happened. Has not happened.
my dreams come true. And #2 game of the year.
Yeah.
The video game we're talking about this week is another one of those that came out at the end of last year and kind of got lost in the shuffle, but I think it's interesting enough that we shouldn't overlook it. So we're going to talk about it this week. It's called Valkyria Chronicles, and it's from Sega. And it is a PS3 exclusive game, and it's a role-playing strategy, turn-based strategy hybrid that takes place in sort of an Elseworlds World War II era time. So it's like an alternate reality, but it takes place in World War II. So it's not the
Space stuff.
Right, it's
fantasy, magic, it's tanks.
It's tanks
And rocket launchers.
but it's also very anime, and it's got a lot of that Japanese feel to it. The game takes place, it's a turn-based strategy game ostensibly, but a lot of it takes place in a third-person action game kind of point of view. So even though you're taking turns and moving your guys around the field and creating tactical maneuvers to win these little skirmishes, you're doing it from behind the character and you're lining up shots like you would a third-person shooter game. So that's a really interesting, unique take on it. And it's also wrapped in this kind of graphic novel presentation where you're playing chapters in a book. So it's got a lot of interesting, different kinds of ideas. Dan, what did you think of it?
Before I discuss what I think of it, could you clarify for me, because I think that there's a lot of people out there that might have been as confused as I was, months ago, and then I just only sort of aggregated the knowledge from just our conversations of the difference between TTS, turn-based strategy game, and a real-time strategy game.
Right.
Because I thought that there was also some real-time elements in this, and I realized
Definitely.
we've never defined what that is, because we've said, oh, that's turn-based, and oh, no, that's a real-time strategy game. And
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So real-time strategy games are like Warcraft or StarCraft or Command and Conquer, where nothing ever stops. It is part of the skill of the game is to set up your units, move them, collect resources.
The enemy
if
is
you need to.
advancing as you're trying to figure out how to defend.
Everything's happening now, and part of the strategy of the game is doing it. How fast can you get things done? Taking the approach of the enemy into account in real time.
Right.
Turn-based is more like Dungeons and Dragons, the tabletop game, where you take a turn. You can sit there and you think about, or like chess, really. You sit there and you think about what to do next, and based on all the choices that you have, you look at the game board or the war map or whatever the game might be, and you make that decision, and then the next person has their turn. It's like any board game, really.
Yeah.
So this game is kind of a hybrid of that, where you do have the time to decide which unit you're going to use now. You have command points that you can spend to move units, to decide which unit you want to spend that point on to move them. And you have all the time in the world to make that decision and make that move. But within that, you're in that third-person view, and so you have a finite amount of movement, and as you're doing your movement, maybe guys are attacking you, so there is a little bit of, I need to do this quickly, I need to figure out what I'm doing or else I'll die.
There's like real time within turn-based.
Yeah.
Sort of.
And there's a lot of role playing in this game too, because you're leveling up units, and you have to decide how to spend your experience points.
Where to put them and yada yada.
Yeah. Okay. I really like this game. Pretty rad game. Very time consuming. Here's the thing. Okay. First of all, the anime-ishness I really enjoyed, and the music was very anime. Like it reminded me of, it was very sentimental orchestral score. Not John Williams bump, but a bump. Very like classical music
And the story was very sentimental.
Yes, and the story was sentimental as well. But the score and the aesthetics reminded me of not of anime now, a little bit like Miyazaki, which is reminiscent of when I was a kid. I watched a show on Nickelodeon called Mysterious Cities of Gold. But also, like, I think Speed Race, like, there were American shows that were actual anime,
from Japan.
like Voltron is kind of like that. That's what I guess. Well, that's wholly anime. There was an Aladdin. Filmation was a group that did like an Aladdin, or released an Aladdin that was anime before the Disney. That kind of feel. So,
And there's a filter on all these graphics to kind of make it look sketched.
yes.
Yeah.
I loved this. It really struck a chord, and I wouldn't like this kind of music in any other setting, but it just reminded me of a kid watching cartoons as a kid, so I really enjoyed that. And I thought the story, very Japanesey and weird, but it started in such a, because names are different and weird, and it gets very political, but it started in such a simple place in a small farm boy kind of deal and encounter, and it's such a small altercation that I was ushered into this grand story in such a clear, simple way that I really kind of enjoyed it. And I wouldn't have if it started more in the middle, like a lot of other
Like you're
Japanese
the commander of the
RPGs.
squad.
Exactly.
Here's how that stuff that you forgot about being a commander that you should remember now.
The story would have been lost on me there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I like those aspects, and the playing of the game is great. The deciding what to do and how to do it, and the real-time stuff within it, I thought was so challenging and awesome. And what was great was that the real-time stuff within the turn-based created such, as you got into later levels, such great epic moments that you guys probably didn't have because there were there was a moment because you
surrounded,
basically
and
have to
that's not
capture
what you're supposed to happen.
Right.
There's a lot of different ways to attack this given problem.
I captured a base at the end. I had one turn. I was going to die on a level that I died over the first kind of big city level
with the tank.
I
where
died.
It goes like this.
Yes.
Yeah.
I died.
And you're like, I'll just go straight up here. Oh, I can't do that. I'm out
I
of
died
turns.
a bajillion times.
Yeah.
And then there was this one. I was going to die again and have to replay the whole thing all over again. And I smashed my tank. There were units and there was the flag. I put my tank in between the units and the flag so that my other guy could just run up. It was the most brilliant. I was so proud of myself for coming up with that solution. And that was on my own, I decided that.
Alex,
So-
I'm wondering. That's cool.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I know you are on the record as being not a
into
fan of strategy games.
Yeah.
But this is definitely a different take on that. It's in the third person. That's more like a shooter. So I'm wondering if that feel helped some of that.
Here's the thing that's very interesting about this game. As we, and one of the reasons why we had the conversation that we did today was because I've sort of realized that, story to me hasn't really been the draw for video games. It's been the playing of the video games. So this was in a situation where it's a TTS, and I've been on record as saying I'm not a big fan of that style of gameplay.
Right.
But maybe this was the one that could transcend, you know what I mean? I really disliked this game early.
Okay.
Because of the book thing. Because I want to get the cutscenes out of the way because I don't give a crap about the story. That's not why I play video games, as I've learned now. Because it was like story chunk, nothing happens, and then I have to click the next story chunk, nothing happens, and then something opens up and I click the next story chunk, and it wasn't until like almost a good 45 minutes of just sort of watching and clicking that I then was able to actually see what this game actually was like. Mm-hmm. So early on, I was like, "This is stupid. I'm so done. I could care about the story. Who cares? I mean, as into it as you were, I was the exact opposite. I was like, I just want to see how to play this game. I felt like I wasn't playing the game for the first 45 minutes of the game. Then I got to the turn-based stuff, and it was like, oh, interesting. Because I'm not just moving like a little chit and then watching it do something. I'm saying I want to use this chit and like battle chess and get into it. I get into it, and then I'm the guy who goes and does the thing and boom, boom, boom. And then you're learning all the different strategies. Then it started to get, because it really does, at the beginning, it's a lot of the story to game ratio, like the video cutscene to actual gameplay ratio is really high to video, really low to gameplay, and it evens out.
Even the gameplay in the beginning is very different. Like you don't get your tank for a little bit.
Oh yeah,
and then when you get your tank, you don't have like the way.
No, it's crazy. And the thing that really turned me on this game was when they went, okay, now your book has all these tabs, and you're in the base, and you go to the barracks, and or the training ground, and I leveled the thing, and I got the thing, and then I started going, okay, then setting up my squad with like the 20 people, and you're like,
and they all
looking at
have
who
likes
they
and dislikes,
and some of them are like allergic to the desert, and so it's like I can't take her in the desert. It's like all this stuff. Then it started to be like okay, I see what's going on, and at the end, I warmed up to it a lot. You know, I don't know if I would go back and continue playing it after this, but I definitely enjoyed more of my experience playing it than I did not, which ended up being something that I was surprised with.
Well, I think I'm glad you guys both found stuff to like in there, because it's a game that is sold very poorly, and it's a shame, because it really is a very original take on some very tired gameplay styles. And I think it deserves more attention. The graphics are absolutely gorgeous, in my opinion.
I remember thinking they weren't that great in some of the cutscenes.
Oh, really? I really loved the art style. I thought it was beautiful.
I love the style,
Yeah.
but I wasn't blown away by it.
It reminds me, one of my favorite games from the DS from the start was Advance Wars.
Oh, yeah.
And this feels very much like Advance Wars with great graphics, where I get to be in there in 3D running around inside.
It's like Battlefield meets Advance Wars.
Yeah. So I highly recommend the game. I think it's really fun. It gets very challenging later on.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to do.
It gets downright hard.
Yeah.
That my one gripe, two gripes with the game are, one, the storybook. Some things were cutscenes and some things were click-through text, and I just sort of wish that it could all be one. Why break these up into chapters? Just make it all one big thing.
That's why,
kind of like Prince of Persia was a little bit. I don't know if it's a good sucker. I just wish I could have saved within missions.
Well, some of them had like points where you had a sort of a mid-mission save, where like if you died, you didn't go all the way back to the beginning. You only went back to a midway point.
Really?
That happened to me a couple times.
What? I didn't
Maybe you just didn't die in those.
But it's also, I just want to say too that not only there were then the saving that happened, because I literally spent a day just on one mission.
Yeah.
I would play for 2 hours and I couldn't be, and I had to walk away, and then I would come back and I'd play again.
A lot of that is the RPG-ness of it too, because you really needed to later in the game. You really needed to go to the barracks and bump your experience up on your guys.
I would do that every time. Every time.
Cool.
Yep. So we just finished our live show that you saw last week, and now we're doing a little Q&A with the people that came. Thank you guys again for coming.
Thank you so much.
So, any questions? Crickets. Oh, questions. All right, go.
There was an episode where you guys compared, you were doing Be Kind Rewind, and you were talking about how that was kind of cool because you saw your own, the Totally Rad show and the movies they made. So then, what movies did you guys watch as a kid saying, I really wish I could make that into some kind of a skit or something, and it really got you into this business?
Not Star Wars.
Dan made Star Wars with kitchen appliances.
I made Star Wars.
Which was not Hardware Wars. You kind of got screwed on that one.
Yeah, they came out before me, and I made Star Wars with kitchen appliances because I remember, and my brother's in the audience, and he's seen this footage. I remember seeing the making of Star Wars when I was a kid, and I remember them talking about how they used this. What they were actually saying was, we used the sound of a refrigerator to make the noise of the something in Star Wars. We're at Dolby, someone should know here. But something was used, right? So, but my little kid, 4-year-old brain interpreted it as kitchen stuff equals Star Wars. So I grabbed like my mom's whisk and Micro Machines and action figures.
Wait, Micro Machines were in the kitchen?
Yeah,
well, I just a bunch of stuff, because that had to be like, Millennium Falcon wasn't a kitchen appliance. That was, you know.
Oh, and it was in?
Anyway, and I grabbed all that stuff, and I turned the camera on, and I just went like this in front of the camera. And I remember I was so disappointed when I saw it back, and I was like, how come it doesn't look that way? Like, and I kind of feel like a little bit of what I do is like reconciling like that, how come the things that I see in my head don't end up on the screen that way?
That little confused boy is still in there somewhere.
Still in there. You should use the egg
seriously,
carton.
I really do kind of feel that way.
It would have made it.
Anyway,
Would have made it.
but what would we remake? So yeah, I did that. I actually did that.
Yeah, Indiana Jones was one for me. Definitely.
Well, we also,
And
I
there
mean, you
was-
brought up Be Kind Rewind, but we watched the remake.
Son of Rambo?
No, the remake of Indiana Jones or of Raiders of the Lost Ark that those kids did. And I don't think there's anybody that watches that doesn't go, God, I wish I could have done that.
Did you ever remake? I mean, Jeff, did you ever remake stuff when you were a kid, or with Steve or something, like a scene from something?
Steve and I didn't meet till college, which is.
I'm thinking in college, maybe you did something.
We made various things in college. As a kid, I made movies.
That sounded
But, and he was like a scene from something else.
Love. You want me to say it? We made love in college. Out of nothing at all.
And ate meatloaf. Because he did the song, whatever. That's cool. Making love out of nothing at all?
No.
Meatloaf.
It's not meatloaf.
Everybody stop.
Who is it?
You guys are
is
so
it, Amy Jo?
far off. You guys are so, you're gonna.
All right, next question.
Yeah,
next question.
Is it not meatloaf?
You sir in the back.
Unfortunately, this might be the awkward question that Jeff referenced.
I love 'em.
Started. I desperately want to know what happened to Geek Drome.
You are right. It is awkward.
So Dan used to do a show called Geek Drum. Wanted to know what happened. Dan, the Geek Drum.
I did that show, Geek Drum. It was awesome, a lot of fun. I was inspired by Dignation and all that stuff. So my good friend John and I started doing that show. But John and I had a sort of a personal falling out. It's funny, we just were interviewed, and I sort of answered this on that interview. But we had a personal falling out, and the show was about our friendship, and our friendship wasn't really working, so we couldn't still do the show. It
Way to bring down the room, Dan.
It wasn't a very fun experience.
I wish his room.
Let me say that I feel like, while I wanted to know, I feel like we are all much better off now.
Oh,
that's
thank
nice
you.
to
Thank
hear.
you.
And you know, John's doing a show called Geekscape, and it's cool. And
Yeah.
if you dig what John was doing on Geek Drum, you should check out his
Yes.
show too.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Good question though.
Thank you.
Said. Man in a hat that was in the show.
There's a lot of actors out there that play themselves in every role. Jack Nicholson.
Right.
What are some of the actors, though, that you think change who they are, how they act? They're completely different people in every role that they go through. Who do you think are the best?
Number one for me is Sam Rockwell. for me, it was Galaxy Quest. When I first saw him in Galaxy Quest, I was like, that guy's such a weird, cheesy noob. And then I saw him in Green Mile, and I was like, who is this guy? And then everything I've seen him in since, he's really changed. So I'd say, but I think you're right too.
Gary Oldman.
Gary Oldman.
So I was thinking
definitely.
Gary Oldman, John Malkovich.
Yeah, but John
less and
Malkovich
less.
is kind of the same.
Less and
like,
less.
Really?
Nowadays, but
It's the same guy. It's like, it's in Eastern European France, and he's like, I said that my king was this guy. And you're like, that's like a New York act. Like, what are you doing?
Really?
John Malkovich?
Yeah, I don't. Oh, John Malkovich? I thought you were saying Gary Oldman was that way.
You just said John Malkovich.
Did I not
And
also
said-
say Gary Oldman?
You said John Malkovich, and I said he sounds exactly like.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I didn't. My brain was thinking Gary Oldman, but
we can
my
go to
words
another
I chose.
question. It's cool.
Yeah, but
we
there are
covered that.
definitely
Yeah.
some people
We
out
love those guys.
Yes.
My question's sort of about like when you guys are actually filming,
Mm-hmm.
like one of the idiosyncrasies like of the show of all you guys that I've noticed is that you're constantly like pushing the show forward. Like if somebody starts to like ramble or whatever.
Kind of like what just happened right now when I was like, we can go to the next question.
You do it all the time,
Yeah.
right? And so like I'm thinking like, do you guys like naturally do that like to each other?
So you're
No.
done with your question, basically.
Yeah. Or is that like, I mean, it seems almost as if you guys like made like this rule, like we're not allowed to, you know, just veer off too far or whatever, you know, that kind of thing.
We don't want to put out a
This is a good way.
4-hour show,
It's
which
a
we
little-
could.
Honestly, it's a little from column A, a little from column B. I think when we started, it was pretty clear that if we sat down and talk about movies without any time constraints, it would be a 5-hour show.
Right.
And so there was a little bit of that where we were like, you know, we can't. But also at the same time, we are kind of like that, you know, where we're like, well, I have this other thing that I want to talk about, and you're not letting me do that. So let's just,
A little bit of that, yeah.
you know what I mean, at dinner. You know?
Right.
That's Steve. A lot of Steve's job in the show is like, okay, guys, we need to stop. We need to move on.
Yeah.
Because
We tend to repeat ourselves a lot, I feel, too. Or I do.
yeah, we tend to repeat
that you do
ourselves.
And then I had one more quick question. Are you guys gonna make like a movie together? Like, since you guys are.
I don't know. Are we,
I
Dan?
don't know, Dan.
What? You guys can make a movie and ask me to help make it, too?
I think it would
I think
be
you could ask Craig what it would be like to make a movie with Dan. It would be very difficult.
Right.
Are you a producer of some sorts that can...
No, I direct movies. Yeah, that's what I mean, but no.
Oh, well then we don't need Dan. We got you.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What do we need Dan for?
obviously,
Let's make
you
a
know,
movie.
yeah, obviously, we have such a great time together. I mean, clearly, if there was ever a project that came up that made sense to us, we of course would jump on it. I mean, you know, just as friends, and I mean, just like with all of the friends that you know and hang out with, if projects come up that seem cool, you know, it's easier to work with people you know than you don't. So.
Yeah.
We'll do the sequel if it makes sense. You know, if a good script
work.
comes by,
Good
it
work.
makes sense. It's like what they always, you know.
We haven't done the
makes
first one
sense.
yet?
Yeah. Good question. Nexties, all the way in the back, flannel.
I
think that's
two
flannel.
questions. One, what is your favorite project to do outside of the Totally Rad Show, past or present?
Good.
Two, Alex, what happened with Top Gear? US.
Ah,
I wanna
good
know.
questions. Both good questions.
Projects.
So my project.
Lore.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the question was, what are our favorite projects outside of the Totally Rad Show, and then also what happened with Top Gear that was hinted about, the U.S. Top Gear, and I'll answer both. So first off, favorite project outside of TRS. You know, I think I might have to say right now, Project Lore. Yeah, and I think it's just because it's new and like it's in that baby stage where we're still kind of trying to figure out what it is, and we're getting so much great feedback, and you know, and as much fun as I have doing Dignation, and I really, that to me, I should not be getting paid to do that show. I mean, it's so much fun, it's so easy, and Kevin and I have been friends for so long, and it just makes sense. It's fun, but it doesn't really challenge me, and we're not really trying to change it in any way. It's like we have this thing, and it's fun, and it works, and we just do it, and it's fun. With Project Lore, it's like this weird experimental thing. You know, I go into the office, and I look at the website, and I go, let's just do that. And everybody goes, what? And we do it. It's fun. And you haven't seen any of that stuff yet because it's coming. So it's been that to me is my project that outside is my favorite. Most fun. What about you guys?
Boy, I love doing live improv. It's a thrill and a scary and fun at the same time. I love doing Van with Amy Jo and Steve. Or we have the comedy. I don't know if anybody's gone to varyinggoodneighbors.com. We have a comedy troupe. I would love to do more scripted stuff.
Yeah.
So I think that outside doing more scripted stuff is where I get the most joy, because it's different from this.
Yeah.
I love making macaroni necklaces and
you
putting
guys
my
wanna see
hands
mine?
in clay
It's a good
and
project.
seeing what it looks like. I mean, I love making commercials. I wish that could happen more often. Would love to make movie stuff happen, and I'm trying to do that, but that's not happening yet. But that would potentially be a fun project to do outside of the Rad Show, potentially starring Courtney and Craig.
Love it.
But
I'd watch that.
I mean, yeah, yeah. I love making movie stuff. So right now, you know, commercials sort of happen. So it's been really fun trying to get that going more.
All right. Next question. No, I'm just kidding. I know. I was just totally joking about the Top Gear thing.
Oh, Top Gear
So
thing.
Top Gear, I met with the guys at BBC to work on some internet stuff, to maybe do some internet stuff, and they're great guys doing it at the BBC side of which was the internet stuff. And just from hanging out and knowing those guys for a while, I got a random phone call that was like, hey, if I wanted you to host a show called Top Gear on NBC, would you be interested in that? And I was like, excuse me, I need to change my pants. So yes. And then it was like, from what I heard, they knew that they were going to have Adam Carolla host the show. And none of this stuff is new news, thankfully, because otherwise...
You obviously haven't heard about Alex and Adam's feud. It's been going on.
That man, he's a genius, but it's not nice. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, and they knew that Adam was going to host the show, and they had, I think they had found one of the other hosts. Basically, the bottom line was they had one host, they had found two, and they were looking for the third, and they read everybody. They had gone through 200. They've had 200 people on tape, all named people. Could not figure out what it was. And my buddy at the BBC was like, "Well, look, there's this guy. He hosts on the internet. You know, he's got a good following. He's decent enough at it. Here's his reel and stuff. You know, look at his shows." And they were like, "This is interesting. This is interesting." And as we started getting along the process of, I was going to go in and meet with some of the executives and do that whole thing. They found a guy. And it happens. I mean, it was sort of like one of those fun things. I had a couple of phone calls, and I met with one of the series producers and stuff like that. And then they found a guy who just everybody was okay with at the network, because I hadn't met with any of the network people. And so the network people were triggered in on a guy. And I mean, that's just the nature of what happens. It was fun for me because it was like, all of a sudden I was in this, like, I was in the mix, you know what I mean? It was like, what? Top Gear? All right, one more question. One more, really.
Girls had her hand up like every
All right,
single
girl.
time.
Hi.
So what podcast do you guys watch or listen to?
Interesting. I know one of yours that...
Well, I'm very sad that the One Up guys have stopped doing, I don't know if you guys have heard, the One Up show and One Up Yours due to some
businessy stuff.
They, a lot of layoffs. They got acquired by a different company. Anyway, that was the show that I loved, and two shows, I should say. I watched Ignatian.
Good.
I'm the viewer.
Excuse me.
He watches over at my house, so it counts as one. What else do we watch? You love College Humor. You've been getting really into College Humor stuff.
Not a podcast.
Not a podcast.
Yeah. I really like the Slash Filmcast.
Yeah.
So the Slash Film, the website Slash Film, they now have a podcast Slash Filmcast.
I love Scam School.
And Scam School's great.
Yeah. Scam School. It's good.
iFanboy.
iFanboy's good.
iFanboy's great if you like comics.
I love Wine Library TV. I mean, that's how I know.
Control Chicken.
Control Chicken, you gotta love it.
Oh, you just opened that can. Thanks a lot.
I mean, next question, Control Chicken, what happened? I love it.
Not our decision.
It's good. That was a quick answer to the question that you asked yourself. It's amazing. Way to break the
Can I say something?
rule.
I just realized, you know why I said John Malkovich before? I was like, what? When I was thinking Gary Oldman. This is what happened. I saw In the Line of Fire the other day.
Now you see why we do it.
I saw In the Line. Who asked it? You?
No, but he was like, why?
I was watching In the Line of Fire the other day, and so when you first asked the question, the first thing that popped in my brain is John Malkovich was played. You remember he kept on changing who he was? Do you remember In the Line of Fire?
Genius.
Great movie.
What you're saying is genius.
Wolfgang Peters, the guy who directed Neverending Story, directed In the Line of Fire.
That's amazing.
And Troy.
So yeah, I mean,
And
there's so
Perfect
many podcasts out there that are great. I mean, Gary, I know Gary because of Wine Library TV, which is when you watch that guy. I miss Zay Frank. I loved Zay Frank.
I listen to Twit. You know, I do a lot of
Zero Punctuation is great. You Suck at Photoshop is awesome. Love the guys that You Suck at Photoshop. It's like genius concept for stuff. So there's a lot of really great stuff out there. You had something? First things first, of course. My fiance's TV show. I got to do it. Got to watch that. All right.
So that's
well, thank you guys all so much for the questions, and we're gonna go retire out to the hallway for some food.
You can ask us more questions there.
On a one-on-one.
Or not.
Or.
Oh,
yeah.
That's it. You guys ready?
You wanted it so bad.
What if I took my hand away?
Then Dan would punch each other in the face.
All right, everybody, before we wrap up this lovely show we've been presenting, we do want to thank our sponsors, such amazing sponsors as Squarespace. We haven't talked about Squarespace in a while, but Squarespace is hands down the best WYSIWYG web hosting site I have ever seen in my life. Those guys are awesome over at Squarespace.
Yeah, maybe you haven't talked about them in a while, but I tell everybody I meet.
Honestly, me too. Whenever anybody's like, I should do a blah, blah, blah. Like we did First Things First TV. Heather's new show is being hosted over there. Like it was a no-brainer to host it over there. So head over to squarespace.com, check it out. They have 10% off the lifetime of your order, which means the lifetime of your website, if you're willing to have your website up that long.
Forever, ever?
Forever, ever. 10% off. Just use the coupon code TRS when you check out. Check them out, squarespace.com.
And if you have a website, you're going to need a domain.
It's true.
And the best place to buy a domain is at GoDaddy.com. This last week, I got an email from a kid named Josh, who said his mom is getting, I don't even know if I'm supposed to tell this, but I'm gonna anyway. He said his mom is getting a doctorate in sexology, which I didn't even know you could do.
It's
Sounds awesome.
amazing.
She's like, probably gonna be like Dr. Ruth, helping people out with their problems,
Love
right?
it, love it.
And she was setting up a website for her practice, and he's like, hey mom, I watched this great show on the internet, and they talk about GoDaddy. You should buy your thing from them, and they've got this promo code, TRS1. You put that in, you'll get 10% off. And so his mom saved money because he watches our show. So be like Josh
Save money.
Save
for your
money
parents.
when you need to buy a domain name, or your mom does, or anybody you know. Tell them about TRS1. It's a great promo code. It'll save you money, and it'll have great service, awesome options. It's the best place to buy domain
Or
names.
become a sexologist.
Or that.
Also sponsoring the show is Netflix. Netflix.com is online renting or viewing.
Now.
So they have over 90,000 titles, tons of Blu-ray movies. I highly recommend, I actually did see, for a second time around, Master and Commander in Blu-ray, and it's stunning.
Yeah.
So big time recommend that. If you never saw Witness, totally rent Witness. It's on Netflix.
Good movie.
So to see Han Solo. They also have the Watch Instantly thing that
Watch
we've
Now.
been talking about, the Watch Now. So you can, if you have an Xbox 360, you can watch instantly on there or on your Mac or PC. Tons of titles, not everything, but tons of, especially a lot of documentaries that you can literally just hit play now and it streams
more and
live
more every
everything.
day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Very cool, but they have 40 shipment centers, so if you're not watching instantly, you get your movie basically the next day. Plans start as low as $4.99, but you can get a 2-week free trial if you head to netflix.com/TRS.
With the www.
Make sure you put those wwws in and put the /TRS, and it helps us out, helps them out.
It's great. It's
Yeah.
great.
Cool.
Well, thank you guys so much. We're not going to do an email because we just did about 5 of them rapid fire style at the Q&A. But if you do want to send us an email and have your email read on the show, feel free to send it to fans@totallyradshow.com.
That's also, you would send us a background, like our Finnish friend.
Like Eva, Andre Jeff.
And check out our forums. There's really great conversations there happening all the time. Another thing that I think we should start mentioning at the end of every show is that if you have any questions about previous episodes, what we've talked about, what we've covered, maybe what the intro was, you were curious about that, we have this amazing Wikipedia page that fans are updating every single week, and it's a comprehensive list of everything we've talked about for the entire history of the Totally Rad Show. So check that out.
Yeah.
Also on the website on totallyradshow.com is the movie we're going to review that you can find out if you want to go to the movies the upcoming weekend and you want to see what we're seeing so you can be in on our discussion. Head over to totallyradshow.com. I can tell you right now it's going to be either Kill Shot or In-Cart. We're going to decide, but you can see which we choose.
I keep hearing you say In-Cart.
Ink-Heart.
Yes.
Yeah.
Heart. It's very good, very good. Also, get yourself some TRS swag. Head over to jinx.com/TRS. As well, follow us up on Twitter. We're all twittering around. Twitter.com/AlexAlbrecht.
/Jeff Canada.
/DannyTRS.
/SteveTRS. That is it for this week's edition of The Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Until next time, punch it. Punch it, kid.
Knuckle punch.
Here we go. Really, Dan? You weren't even in the shot. It's great. We're all looking at the screen.
And give us the reviews of games and movies too. Sure hope you're not confused. I swear it's all true. Not just the premise too. The Totally Rad Show.
Sure hope you're not confused. I swear this is all
Is that